first of the I Am series.
I am. Very first. Series.
Welcome to the first of many I Am. I am bold. I am passionate. I am excited. I am blessed. I am Michelle Laylor. And welcome. You could have been so many other different places, but you choose to be here. So I am so grateful to you. So give yourselves a hand. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background here. January the 11th, I want to give you, this is divine. I got a response from Edmond Newton, January the 11th. What is today's date? April 2nd. What is that time? Not much. I like that. 2.5 months. So this is what the series is about. If it's for you, it is for you. 2.5 months. And you're going to have a phenomenal experience. I Am is a movement. And I am so glad that you are here, are part of it. And this could not happen with just me. I want to thank the Bermuda Fashion Festival for partnering up. I want to thank Dana Lee Trott and her team. And then later on, I'll give you specific names. I want to thank specifically Erlat Stevens, Rashina Beek, for being my true angels and sister friends. And so I'm going to introduce to you one of my other sister friends, inspirational speaker and author, Shana Duncan. Oh, you could do better than that.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am. It is indeed a pleasure to be here. I have heard about Edmond Newton. I wasn't familiar with him at first, but then when I decided to do my homework and I started YouTubing him and all of the marvelous things that he's done, how he has done some things that most people will stop at once, twice, 3 times of rejection. Edmond, no, sir. He said, I am going to persevere and I'm going to do it until I am on Project Runway. Give him a hand for that. Excellent. Excellent. And so what we're going to do is we are going to have an intimate and upfront conversation with Edmond Newton. And so he is now preparing to come up, and we're just going to just enjoy what this human being has done. Often as people, we see television and we see what someone has become. And we think, oh, that's great, magnificent. Very rarely do we pay attention to the details that got them to the final destination. But today we're going to look and connect the dots of his life. We're going to see a little thread, and we're going to weave it into what we have seen on Project Runway to become the Edmond Newton that has persevered, that has stood through the rejections, that has used his tenacity, that has used his determination and his belief that he was, that he could, that it was possible. That's what we're going to talk about today. Edmond Newton.
Hello.
My arms are long.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Woohoo! We can give him a better hand clap than that. Edmond Newton, welcome to Bermuda. Good. Edmond, how are you feeling right now?
I'm just in a mix of emotions.
Okay.
Excitement, feelings of blessings, just ready to feel this experience.
Good,
Yeah,
good,
with everyone
good.
here.
Good, good, good. And listen to this. I am going to ask him some questions. And if you have some things that you want to ask, think about them. And once we're done, we're going to open the floor and give you the opportunity to ask any questions that I might have not asked or something that you want to know specifically about him. So listen, I heard that before you became a designer, that you were a barber. Let's talk about that a little bit.
All right, all right. What exactly would you like to know about that portion?
Okay, let's talk about when did you start, how long did you do it, and then how did you make that transition to become a designer?
Okay, and it all ties in together. It goes way back. I actually, for those who may not know, grew up in a salon. At the age of 5, my mother began to attend beauty school. My father was in the military, so I was around her a whole lot. And pretty much through her years of beauty school, transitioning into working at a salon, and then moving forward to actually owning her own salon, like I say, I was around that all the time. So I was trying to figure out how could I find something similar to this, that I could do. And I guess, also seeing my father cut hair when he was in the military. Now, he wasn't a barber in the military. He did other things, but that was something that he did. And I started pretty much cutting cousins and friends and people of that nature, friends in the neighborhood, their hair in the salon, and unlicensed at that time. But that's where I gathered my experience, and for a free haircut, if you gap them or, do something wrong, you can't complain, it's a free haircut. And I worked and did it, for some time, and I knew that graduating from high school, that was the first thing that I wanted to get under my belt, as far as, certificate or accreditation or what have you. So that was my main objective, graduating from high school, go right into barber school, and that's exactly what I did. I went to barber school, and at that time I was living in Greenville, South Carolina, and there was a place called Professional Hair Design Academy, which I had applied to prior, like 2 weeks prior to graduating. And I think like the following week after leaving high school, I attended there for a year, full-time. The opportunity, you could go part-time for 2 years or full-time for 1 year. I wanted to knock it out in 1 year. I had a goal, I had a plan of what I wanted to do and acquire that licensing. And in that time, now take in mind, I did a lot of traveling with my mom to Atlanta. We would go to places like the Bronner Brothers International Hair Show, which some people are familiar with. That made a major impact on me as far as cutting hair. And I actually, once I obtained my license, I stayed in Greenville for 12 years. I worked there, I built my clientele, and really did the thing professionally as a barber.
Okay, good,
Yes.
good. So what I heard from you is that you had input from your mom and your dad.
Yes.
Talk about how important that was for you as a young person growing up and then just having that constant support in your life.
Wow. I'd say, having both my mom and my father in my life gave me a great sense of balance. Now, they weren't necessarily in the same household my entire life. Throughout my life, even to now, they've remained the best of friends, worst of lovers, as I, gather. But the best way that I would say to explain it, and I really try to get people to understand it prior to this show, but if you're familiar with the show Empire, Cookie and Lucius, that's my mom and my dad. Ride or die. Can't stand each other, love each other. Don't mess with one or the other or the family. And that's a great thing. And my father, he's always like, tried to give me the best advice that he could, as far as his life experiences, and as well as my mother. So having both of those sides, I feel really balanced me a whole lot. It allowed me to look at life in a different point of view, a different perspective, and just see things so well-rounded, That's an amazing thing.
Good, good. And I think that's very important because as parents, especially when they're not always together, children become used in the middle. So I think that's very important that you would highlight how important your parents were in your life. Now, from going from being a barber to deciding that you were going to become a designer? How did you move from one place to the next? Explain that to us.
Okay, bear with me here because I have to kind of think back. So if I'm a little kind of like delayed in my response, it's because I'm kind of trying to process and think about it. But like I say, everything really went hand in hand. Being at the barbershop when I was in Greenville and building my clientele, I started out, my very first fashion show wasn't necessarily a fashion show. It was actually a barber competition. I've always been an entrepreneur, always loved production, always loved creating things. Imagination just goes. And I was like, well, I'm gonna do, you know, as I said, we would attend the Brunner Brothers shows. So let me do my interpretation of that for the people that are here that have never been there. You know, so I said, well, I'm gonna create a barber competition. I reached out to a few other barbershops and barbers and stylists and said, hey, I'm doing this. I'd love for you to participate, be a part of it. We're gonna do a stage production. We'll be, you know, you can actually use maybe 2 or 3 of your clients, do some amazing creative cuts, showcase them on the stage, and win prizes and just be acknowledged for what you do and your talent, and just give you freedom and creativity to just express yourself with what you do barber-wise. So of course I had a lot of people that signed up but reneged on me. A lot of people aren't necessarily comfortable with being on a stage in front of people, as well as even showcasing their talent, you know, in a certain light. You know, and they're very creative and talented individuals, but they don't necessarily just, I guess, at that point in time in their life have that confidence. So once I start something, I have to finish. The show must go on. So, like I say, a lot of the people actually kind of backed out. So I said, well, how can I continue this? So what I did was I began to somewhat incorporate fashion into it. So the individuals that were working with me, we all worked together at the same barbershop. So I said, well, let's turn it more so into like a men's showcase. Let's cut the guys' hair, and I'll dress the guys and style them. At that time, I wasn't necessarily designing, but I knew style, and I knew what looks good on certain individuals. So we began to, you know, go in that direction, and it actually turned out really well. There was a nice crowd. We had maybe 20, 30 guys that was a part of that event. And even to this day, when I run into those guys, a lot of them had never participated in anything like that. And it was a life-changing experience for them as well.
Okay.
So I think the main thing about it is that, you know, with certain scenarios like that, the experiences that you're able to have, if you're somehow able to involve someone else, that in itself just creates so many memories,
Okay.
you know?
And do you recall how old you were?
Oh, I was I'll say probably maybe like 21.
Okay,
maybe.
so fairly young.
Yeah. Yes.
Fairly young.
Yeah, that's 21.
Yeah. And how old were you, or if you don't want to say how old you were when you auditioned the first time, from the time you had your first show, then to the time when you did the first audition for Project Runway, how many years did that take to get you to that place where you felt comfortable to actually audition?
I think that was probably about maybe a 5-year transition. I'm thinking ideally, give or take 1 or 2 years. Ideally, because like I say, I started out pretty much, I guess you could say styling in that sense, for lack of a better word, you know. That was before I pretty much began sewing. And I'll say about 4 to 5 years later is when I found out about the casting for Project Runway.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And I read that you are a self-taught tailor.
Yes.
Okay, talk about that. Like, how did you get to that point? When did you decide that that was specifically what you wanted to do with your time in life?
Wow. As I think back on, like, when did I first, like, touch a sewing machine, or how did I, like, where did this concept even come from? I do remember in high school, going into the 9th grade in my hometown of Union, South Carolina, there was a vocational training that they provided. And this particular one was a mix of everything. So you have brick masonry, you have wood, shop, you had, I think it was like cosmetology, you had like sewing class, home economics.
Yes.
Home economics, okay, yeah, So what we had to do was learn to thread a sewing machine. And we only had maybe like, I want to say maybe like 3-4 days in each class. And that was the first time I'd ever dealt with a sewing machine. I threaded it. I think we made like a square pillow, and I never touched the sewing machine again until like 2004. Okay. Yep. So my objective was to pretty much learn, and take in mind, I mean, coming from a very small town and where I'm from, as I said on the show, you know, saying you want to be a designer or be in the world of fashion at that time was so unique. You know, it's like saying you want to be the president of the United States or you want to be an astronaut. Like, not that you, where would you get the knowledge to move forward? Where would you get the understanding of what needs to be done next to take you to the next level? This was before internet.
Okay. So how did you get that? Where did it come from?
I think a lot of it, again, came from the traveling and experiences with my mom. Okay. Going to the fashion shows, because hair, fashion, makeup, all that stuff goes hand in hand. It's all in one. You need it all in this world of fashion or the fashion industry. And I think seeing that and that excitement and that professionalism and how it was handled in that world of creativity, I think that's where it just sparked. I mean, it was like I felt something. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't realize that I was good at it at that time, because you have to start somewhere. And I think that's where I really started.
Okay, let's move away a little bit, and we'll come back to the fashion part.
Okay.
What is it that makes Edmond smile?
Wow.
That thought. What was in that moment?
Thinking about what would make me smile. let me say this. You know, I was told that this is very relaxed. This is a great individual. I just recently met her. This is my first time to Bermuda, and I must say that I've been so welcome and feel so welcome. I feel like I'm at a second home or visiting relatives that I've never met before, but I feel so comfortable here. And, you know, going back to what you said, what make you smile, like just life experiences, just making other people smile, you know, sharing happiness.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
And so this was your first international air flight experience, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes. So give them a hand for that. Absolutely. 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 And oftentimes people think that you just get there, but like how you talked about what makes you smile. When you were getting on the plane on Thursday to get here, what were you thinking? Like, first time flying internationally, first time coming to Bermuda, first time meeting a whole different culture of experiences. What were your thoughts as Edmond, the individual, the son, and then Edmond, the designer, how this is going to move you and your fashion movement?
An emotional roller coaster. Between feeling like, wow, this is the next plateau, to, wow, this is about to be, you know, a period of just like experiences. This is about to be the beginning of something major, to, this is another mark in your life and in your career.
Okay.
You know, and again, it's again not about me, it's about all of the individuals that I'm able to, like my mom, oh my goodness, she was so excited. Her excitement for it was like, even my father's, my brothers, like everybody's calling me. I think I couldn't really get like super excited about it till I was getting on the plane. Because I had so much to do and I had to be in a certain place, like, you know, they're like, oh my goodness, make sure you do this. And I know it's gonna be so beautiful. And my father's been here before. He was in the military, so he was like, oh, the water's crystal clear. And, you know, even though I'm a grown man, he's still, you know, if you get in the water, well, make sure, be careful, because it's got coral reef and it'll cut you, and make sure you have your passport with you, and just, you know, he always does that, you know, even with my mom, but they were just so blown away and so amazed that the extension of you offering to welcome me here and to tell my story about what's going on, and that involves them, and I know that they're proud and so proud that their son has taken something that started out as a dream and its fruition to this, like where we are now, sitting here on this stage, and again, being able to share the experiences that I've been through with you, you know?
Good, that's good. And so when you talk about a dream, we have probably parents who are sitting in the audience and who have kids.
Okay.
What would you say to them to inspire their children, to keep their children inspired, and then never to let go of that inspiration? What would you say to the parents?
Wow. That can be a lot. I would say what you see in your children, you've got to nourish it. You know, I think you've got to allow them to do things, experience things, be a part of things, find out what they like and what they do not like, and nurture that. A lot of things they may are directions in life you may not understand why, because that's not necessarily your world or something that you've even had an interest in. But I feel that when you nourish that or allow your children to be them, they grow up to blossom into who they should be in life. And I think with that, they're able to notice their purpose in life at an earlier age. I mean, we all do it at different, times in our lives, but I think if you allow that freedom of whatever it may be that they're into, I think that really, it gives them the sense of support that they need. I think it gives them the sense of self-confidence that they need to just manage in this world. I mean, there's so much that we go through daily. And if you know that, there's just one person that supports you in whatever you do, even if it doesn't make sense in everyone else's world, that is one of your fans from that point, and you move forward from there. Allow them to be individuals. I mean, I know a lot of times as parents, sometimes, it's like you want the best for your child, what you feel fit to be the best for your child, or you say, well, I didn't do this and I want you to do that because I didn't. You can give them your experiences. And again, I feel that life is all about experiences. Share that with them, whatever it may be. That's the one thing that I really love, or coming up, as far as my mom and my dad, they would talk to me about their experiences, and I would see that. And back in the day, before now, where everybody has pictures on their phones, we had photo albums. And as a kid, I would sit and just flip through these photo albums and just be amazed at these pictures of how my mom and dad and aunts and uncles and grandma would look different than what they look now. And all of these moments in history were captured, and that had a lot of influence on what I do or chose to do.
Okay, good. Favorite food?
Ooh, I love food. I'm a foodie. Is this what they call it? A foodie person love food. Oh,
Foodologist?
Look, there you go. I'm gonna have to take that back home with me. A foodologist, yes. I love pizza. I love
Toppings on pizza.
Pepperoni, extra sauce, sometimes banana peppers. I'm kind of moving into other things now, but just pizza is pizza. As long as it's good, I love pizza. Okay. I love home cooking. I love soul food. And soul food to me can be anything that has love in it.
Okay.
Michelle's mother prepared a meal for us while we were here, and that was on point. Oh my goodness, it's on point. It was food prepared with love. You can feel it. It nourishes you. It does something. It's like a thirsty body that needs water, and you get that water, and you be like, oh my goodness, this is the best water I ever had in my life. But I love macaroni and cheese is one of my favorites. I love sweet potato pies.
Okay. True American.
Huh?
True American. Yep.
Yep.
So then, what's your favorite car? Do you have a preference for a car?
I tend to have like different personalities for different concepts. I like Jeeps. I love Jeeps. I love trucks. I'm into this whole off-road thing now. And I know that kind of looks a little crazy, like how you driving around with all these gowns in the back and you're in a Jeep or a truck. But I'm a country boy. That's where I originally come from. So I take that with me wherever I go. But I also love like luxury sports cars and things as well. I would like to one day have, ideally, maybe like Corvette.
Okay.
You know.
Top down.
Yeah, top down. Corvette, maybe weekend car. I couldn't drive around no Corvette every day. One, because it's too flashy. Two, I'm not that flashy dude. Even though I might have a million bracelets on and stuff, I'm not that flashy dude. But also, it's really not functional for me, for my everyday what I do. I move things a lot, mannequins, you know, all kind of stuff around. So I need that functionality. So I guess that plays in with the whole being like the SUV feel, the truck and the Jeep and stuff like that, and get around in it.
And I asked the question about the car because I saw in a clip where you did a Ford interview.
Yes.
And you talked about how you are also inspired by cars.
Yes.
So talk about that a little bit.
I'm inspired by so many things, and cars are a lot of it. With the Ford thing, they reached out to me and 3 other individuals in Atlanta. It was held at the W. This was a few years ago. This was after Fashion Star, before Project Runway. And what it was, the Ford Fusion was about to launch. And the designer of the Ford Fusion was actually a fashion designer himself before going into designing the interior of the Ford Fusion. And so myself, fashion designer, there was a jewelry designer, a handbag designer, and someone else. And we were all there on a panel, and they wanted to know, like, where do we draw our inspiration from, and how does that basically come into fruition? Like, how do we bring it to the physical? And yeah, cars are one thing. When I design, I take in mind everything. I take in mind, like, you know, what would this woman drive, or, you know, where would she be going, or what would she smell like, or what kind of shoe or makeup or hair would she wear? So it's a world of imagination, and you can kind of create whatever you want to, but it's it's something that it inspires you. So you think about that when you're creating collections.
Okay. And also when you're getting ready to design, before you come up with your creation, you get the material.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Talk about that fact that you would get the material prior to even creating the image that you want to see from the material.
When I design, some designers start out with a sketch, an illustration, or an idea. Me personally, when I design a collection or signature pieces, I love going to the fabric store. Like, that's one of my favorite places to go. I'm there for like 2 or 3 hours. I love to go by myself, because if someone goes with you, then you feel rushed and pressured. Although a lot of times people say, well, I just want to go with you, and I'm not going to rush you. And after about maybe 30, 45 minutes, they're kind of just, their energy is getting a little lower, and you're like, okay, I can feel you. That's why I come, you know, by myself. But I have to feel the fabric. The fabric speaks to me. It tells me what it wants to do. So that's where I start from. Either it's the print or the texture or the color or whatever it may be. It'll jump out to me and tell me exactly what it wants to do.
Good, good. Let's move to Project Runway. You auditioned for the first season.
Yes.
You got a rejection.
Yes.
You auditioned for the 2nd through the 13th.
Yes.
And the 13th, you were told that you would be a candidate.
Yes.
A couple of days before, it was a change of mind.
Yes.
What was that like? Through all of the rejections, thinking you're getting there, and another rejection.
That, you know, the excitement of knowing, like, it's really happening. You know, season 13, they've called me. They've even said, well, we'll be sending out your plane ticket, you know, start packing your stuff, do this, do that. You know, there's a lot involved. You don't just get up and go. You got to prepare. And at that point in time, take in mind that I had not, I had learned to kind of keep it under wrap, in the sense of not making everyone aware that you're actually going to Project Runway, because I understand things do happen. Now, on my part, it kind of like somewhat brings down the excitement to a degree, but it also, I think, allows me to kind of prepare for the unknown, just in case, backup plan. Okay. So this particular time, you know, I was excited. I was doing what I needed to do on my end, finishing out with the clients and making everyone aware, like I will be going to handle a situation for a while, be away for a while. I couldn't say exactly what. And my mom, I kind of somewhat gave her an ideal of what was going on without telling her, because she's the type of person, like they say, can't hold water with excitement. I know she'll tell my aunt, and my aunt will tell my cousin, and then the next thing you know, it's on Facebook, and it's congratulations, Edmond's on Project Runway, he's made it, and I knew that I was like, oh no, you can't do that. So somewhat I gave her an ideal that, okay, look, Ma, I'm going away for a while, and I'm gonna be handling some business, but here's a number you can reach me at in case of an emergency. So I'm prepping for that. And the excitement is building, anticipation is building up for what's about to happen. I think at that point, I started kind of, sort of, just a little bit getting nervous, like, oh, I'm about to go on television. Like, you're opening up the doors of people into your world, of how you create, what you create. You're on, like, time crunches. You're going to have Tim Gunn walking in the door. Like, this is, okay, now you're starting to freak out a little bit. And 2 days before I was supposed to fly out, I received a phone call, and it was a young lady on the phone who I'd been conversing with. She was over the production and the selection of the actual people for Project Runway. And she called me and she said, Edmond, she said, I said, hey, what's up, how are you? And she said, we're good, but there's been a change in plans. She said, unfortunately, the producers decided not to go with you. You know, so yeah, my heart was crushed too. I was like, oh. And the first thing I thought about was like, what do I do from this point? You know, where do I go from here? And what do I say? You know, so I just kind of just like, I was like, well, why the change of heart? She was like, I don't know. She said, when the producers go into, you know, the room and they shut the door, they make decisions, they come back out. We don't know why. You know, we just know that they decided not to go with you. So I'm like, wow. Is it me? Is it, you know, did I say something? Did I not do something? Am I not animated enough for television? Like, what is it, you know? And she said, well, we want you to try again next year. And I'm thinking, I said, you just told me, do you know what you want me, I didn't say this, but on my side, you know, I said it to myself. You just told me no, and I've been preparing all of this, you know, again, like, well, and I was like, you know what, okay. She said, well, make sure you know, try again next year. And I didn't necessarily take it to heart. I was kind of glad that I didn't make a lot of people aware of it, but I was just trying to figure out, like, how do you go back from where that is? And make a long story short, in that sense, I just said, you know what, Lord, I said, I ask you from the very beginning, if the timing is right, make it happen. If it isn't, I understand. I may not understand right now, but I'm sure that you'll show me why this occurred. So I just kind of released and just let go of it. And I gave it to him. I was like, I'm gonna give you this to handle.
Okay.
And it was, I would say probably about a couple days behind that, I got a call from my mom, and she told me which I knew already, she had been taking care of my uncle. My uncle was sick with cancer, which is her brother, and she had been taking him to his treatments for radiation therapy, and she had been traveling on her end, so she was really busy or whatever, and she called me, and she said, well, her fiance at that time, his name is Bobby. She said, well, Bobby's sick. He's got a cold or something, so when I take your Uncle Sonny to radiation, I'm gonna drop him off and find out what's going on with him as well. So I'm like, okay, cool, well, keep me posted. Well, I'm not going out of town now. I'll be here, just reach out to me. And so from there, she went there, she gave me a call, and all of this is taking place like in a very, very short period of time. And I know I keep making reference to my mom, but that's my ace boon coon. Like, that's my ride or die. Like, we grew up together, so, you know, I just want you to know, he's making a lot of reference to his mom, but we get through life together. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, so with that being said, she called me back a few days later. She and my uncle, her fiance was in the hospital. She said, and I can hear it in her voice. And when you know somebody, no matter what they say, you can sense what's going on with them and their energy. I was like, something's not right. She was like, well, I just wanted to call you. She said, they rushed Bobby to the emergency room. He's in ICU right now. Bobby's her fiance, taking mine. And she said, well, he's in ICU right now. And I'm like, for what? She said, well, they got to do a
MRI?
no,
Tracheotomy.
a tracheotomy. Take in mind, he was fine other than having a slight cold, but the cold was continuing or whatever. So I'm like being there for her, as well as she's got my other uncle on the other end. You know, he's getting his radiology. She's taking care of him. And, you know, I said, well, keep me posted. Let me know what I need to do. You know, if I need to come down there or you need some money or something, just let me know. You know, so with that being said, they said they were going to do emergency surgery, and they turned around, and the surgery was, this was a Monday. The surgery was scheduled for a Wednesday, and he passed on Tuesday. So that crushed me. Like, I'm like, wow, you know, but I knew instantly my reasoning for not going to Project Runway was to be there for her in that situation.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, because oftentimes people see you on TV and don't know what happened behind the scenes.
Yes.
And to know that how life has an order and it works out even in disappointment.
Definitely.
Wow. So now you're on Project Runway.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
That first design comes out. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You see somebody wearing your dress. You're sitting with a panel and you're watching your stuff. What was that like for Edmond, who had gone through all of those upheavals?
I felt like a little kid inside screaming. I felt like a little 5-year-old in Toys R Us, or, you know, with like a $1,000 gift certificate or something. You know, it was
Like that.
yeah,
Like that.
exactly. I was like, yeah, that's what I felt like. But then you got to take your mind, like, okay, lights on you, cameras on you, in front of the judges, the panel, so you can't show it. So inside, this is the excitement that I was feeling, you know, and I mean, it was absolutely amazing thing to see that happen finally, you know, after all of what I had gone through to get there, it was actually happening. But I couldn't just get caught up too much in that moment, because I wanted that to be the first of many shows on Project Runway. My objective from day one, not to go home. Yeah.
Good.
I wasn't trying to go home.
Very good. And I remember her words. They were polished and dramatic, is what
Yes.
she said about your work. And I saw this smile, like, just engulf all of you, like, yes.
Yes.
I did it. Good. I had asked a couple of his family and friends some questions about him, and I wanted to know which star would they like to see in Edmond's design. And everybody except for one came back with Rihanna.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Your family and friends wanted to see you dress Rihanna.
Well, I do too. So how about we reach out to Rihanna and maybe get her for the Met Ball or something? So let's start that hashtag.
Let's start that hashtag, everybody. Hashtag, good. And I know that you want to see your designs go places.
Yes.
Where do you want to go in your design now? Like, what is next for Edmond?
Wow. What is next? Now that I'm international, I've been to Bermuda. I see so many things. You know, I don't know the exact order that they will take place, but I see a lifestyle. I see everything from fragrances to accessories. You know, I see my product being carried in high-end stores, but also being available to the everyday woman. You know, I definitely feel that a lot of my support comes from all over. You know, and I design for women, so there's not one certain, you know, income level or whatever. It's like,
So, Tarjay?
yes, let's do that too. Hashtag Edmond Newton at Tarjay. Yes.
Tarjay,
Yes.
Neiman Marcus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And so, because everybody is not a model-looking body, what do you have in store for those who are beautiful and full?
I actually, what a lot of people don't know is that I work, prior to Project Runway, work with a lot of private clients. So that means if you come to me, you say, Edmond, hey, I would love for you to design something for me for this event, that event, or just to wear. You know, a lot of my clients range from all different sizes. You know, so I am experienced in working with molding pieces and shapes and looks for every woman. And with that being said, we are working on a collection that you know, we'll be putting out as well. Yeah,
Okay,
for that.
good, good. I know a lot of people had thoughts about your design that you did for Hallmark, and you won that competition on Project Runway. Talk about that just for a brief moment or two.
Okay. As far as like just what
The design, how did you get to that design? How women are still calling you, asking you for that design?
Yes. With the Hallmark challenge, like I say, every challenge it was like, okay, Edmond, you got to top what you did last time. The objective is not to go home. So we go into Hallmark and we're in there, and Tim Gunn pretty much says this is your inspiration as well as, you know, what you'll be using to create this design for this challenge. My thing was I had to think different than everyone else, you know, and what would make a major impact? What is that special day? And ideally, people think, you know, birthdays or parties or events or this, that, and the other. You know what? Wedding, boom. You know, and that was my inspiration. I saw one of the cards on the wall. I was like, let me grab it, use that as my inspiration, and go from there. And that dress turned out amazing. I continuously get calls. Even now, I've had people call and say, well, hey, we want that dress. Can we buy it from you? And I'm like, well, you do know that it was made out of paper. Like I've had women call and say they want to get married in that dress, and I'm like, but it's paper. It's made out of paper. And you know, and I tell them that I don't own it. It's actually at Hallmark in their store on display. And they said, well, can you make me one? And I'm like, out of paper? So yeah, I've had a few requests for that, but that's been awesome. Just, you know, everyone appreciating and seeing what had gone into that. So I said all those years in elementary school of art class paid off.
Very good. And you also design for men, correct?
Yes, I do design for men as well. That's where I initially started. I started designing for men because I would want to create things that either at that time I couldn't afford or that I just didn't see. Very inspired by, you know, a lot of the high fashion European designs that are showcased on the runway, which are now very popular. But, you know, I would want to recreate these things because I couldn't find them or couldn't afford them. That's where I started at, menswear.
Okay. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to mention a succession of words.
Okay.
Think about Bermuda.
Okay.
You're coming here, your first time, your wonderful experience. Let's go.
Okay, so you're going to ask me a question.
I'm going to say a word, and you're going to think about Bermuda.
Think about Bermuda.
And what this experience has been like for you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So bring your mind into Bermuda.
Okay.
Cool?
Okay.
Fierce.
Ooh, the women of Bermuda. Can I close my eyes so I can stay
Yeah.
in? Okay.
Stay
I'm in zone right here, so that's why my eyes are closed. All right.
The Atlantic Ocean.
Oh wow, peaceful, full of life, vivid.
Competition.
The highways. The competition factor is like I'm still trying to get used to which side of the road I'm like what should be on, and yeah. So it's almost like we're competing for that.
Rock.
You said rock?
Rock.
Wow, the Crystal Cave, the Fantasy Cave, which I was able to go to yesterday and experience that was absolutely amazing. And I've taken that back with me, all of that energy. I'll be building a collection around that.
Hamilton Princess.
Wow, Hamilton Princess. Exclusive. Luxury.
Okay. This is your last moment. You're getting ready to board the plane to go back.
No, not ready to go.
And your family and friends will ask you to describe Bermuda in one word. What would that word be?
I'm torn between two.
Two. Let's go with two.
Okay, so we can do two.
Open
All
your
right.
eyes. Let's
All
go
right.
with
Oh,
two.
okay, two. Paradise. And again, like I say, just for some reason, it just feels like home. Like
Just
Wow.
very welcoming,
Wow.
very like home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So it could be easily said that you'll come back?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be
Okay.
back.
Thank
And
you.
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
All right. A lot of the people that I've met have told me like Atlanta's my second home. So that in itself I'm loving because Atlanta's like my second home. It is. I live there, but this is my second home as well. But that just shows me like I guess the direct connect of getting to and from. It doesn't seem as far now. You know, I think prior to coming, I felt that Bermuda may have been off in this far off land, this destination that it would be like, I didn't know when I would ever get to it. You know, I would see things on television and even watching like HGTV and people would buy homes and I'd just be like, wow, that's so beautiful, so amazing. And I didn't know when or how, just how far off it was. But I mean, it's like direct connect flight through Delta. I'll be back. Like, so I need some more home cooked meals when I get here. I love seafood, so just.
Good, good. And at this time, Edmond, thank you so much.
You're
thank
welcome.
you. Like, yes.
It's been great. Sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
We want to include the audience. So if anyone has a question that they'd like to ask Edmond, we're going to have someone to come with mics. Please feel free to ask him anything appropriate that he would want to say in public. Can we have some light? Yeah, so he can see everybody that's here.
Good afternoon. Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you for coming. I enjoyed Project Runway with you on it. I did enjoy your designs.
Thank
you say
you.
you live in Atlanta, and I want
Yes.
to know where you're from originally.
That's a good. When people ask that, I have to give credit where it's due. I was born in Steubenville, Ohio. I left there when I was 3, and from there, I was pretty much raised in South Carolina, Union, South Carolina. Yeah, I told you them ATV tires and them trucks and them Jeeps.
Okay.
That's yes.
Well, you
Country
say you
boy.
live in Atlanta now, right?
Yes. I'm in the downtown area of Atlanta, Hot Atlanta, the new Atlanta as they're building. Yes, of course, of course. We'll get the information to you, or you could, well, being that we're here, let's connect. I mean, you know, but those that want to reach out, my website, edmondnewton.com, EDMONDNEWTON. Okay, well, we'll talk. We'll pull you to the side and get that information to you. Yep. Awesome, thank you.
So that means that right now you're still very accessible to the common person.
I will always be accessible to the common person
Wow.
because the common person is what supported me on Project Runway. Yeah. Yes.
Very good.
Hi,
Very-
Edmond. Welcome to Bermuda.
Hello.
I think
Thank
the
you.
word you wanted was hospitable. I want to know why you didn't bring your mother with you.
Okay, well, all right. My mom was supposed to be coming, but she had some other things. She's an angel in the sense of always doing stuff for other people. And last minute, there were a few obligations that she tied herself to, but she was coming. So, but if I come back, trust me, she'll be with me. So, yeah. But thank you. Hello.
How is it working with the models at Project Runway?
It was great in the sense of I'm an energy person, so I pick models off of their energy, off of their vibe, and the cast of models that they selected for us was awesome. So they knew that the objective was to sell the garment to the judges. You have to take in mind you got these individuals from Tim to Heidi and Zach and Nina, and they did a really good job. So I was very pleased with the model selection.
Edmond, how important is it for you to have someone with your energy wear your garment?
Ooh, very important. Like I say, the energy has to be right, collection-wise, but also I work with, you know, when I'm dealing with clients, I work with their energy. I work with their confidence level. I work with what they like, and you have to listen to them. Like, you know, if you came to me and you said, well, Edmond, I'm having an event that I have to go to. We sit down, we have a consultation. I say, well, just, you know, I interview you at that time, but I said, well, what are your favorite colors? You know, what kind of materials do you like? What do you like to accentuate on your body? What do you prefer to maybe cover up? you know, and from there I build and I sketch and I draw and I let you see visually on paper what I'm seeing in my head. And you can say, well, you know, I like that top, but that bottom, can we change that a little? And I erase and draw and recreate. And I think it's all about the client at that time.
Okay, I think we have another question over here. Yes, go ahead.
In your season of Project Runway, who did you feel was your biggest competition?
Thank you for that question. And I mean, how old are you? 11. Awesome. You watch Project Runway? Do you design or do something in the fashion world? Awesome. Awesome. Let's give it up for who are you here with? Support that. Support that. And whatever she does, support that. But to answer your question, they would ask me that in the interviews, and my response would always be like, my biggest competition is myself, because I have to outdo what I did last time. And not trying to take anything away from any of the other designers, because they're very creative, very talented, and all of that, you know, because if they weren't, they wouldn't be on the show. But I can't focus on them when I got to focus on myself, you know? So I don't want to get complacent and so focused on what they're doing and trying to play catch up or pass them. You got to outdo yourself. So I was my biggest competition.
Question.
Thank you.
Is there a question? Okay, go ahead.
Do you consider mentoring younger children?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Do you consider younger children?
Yes, I guess with the internship program that I'm doing now, I deal with students in fashion school. I'm trying to figure out a way to maybe either go to a few schools and maybe do like a 1-week sewing training kind of thing, just to start that engine going. But I guess that's something in the future I would look to my team and I possibly doing. As well as I want to actually create some type of scholarship to kind of like give somewhat funding for the startup materials, because it take a lot of items to like really do this fashion thing.
And this is Portia, who called in the radio station.
Hey, I remember that. Awesome. We gotta meet.
We have another question over here.
Hi, Edmond. How are you?
I'm well. How you doing?
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
My name's Desiree.
Desiree?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay.
First of all, did you do an interview with something and you mentioned Desiree in something that you was doing something along the show? Do you remember that?
I'm sorry. Say that again. Now.
Something in one of the Project Runway's shows, you mentioned Desiree in something. Did
yes.
you? Yes.
Desiree.
That's what I thought.
Yes, Desiree was the actual young lady when we did the challenge where we had to do the makeover.
Oh, yes.
That was her name. Yeah.
Oh, that was her name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And one other thing I noticed, you came across very humble. Remember when you guys done the group challenge and you was with the Chinese lady?
Yeah. Yes.
Wasn't that something? Like, I would thought that she would have been more, because you was the guy. You know what I mean? Like, you were the guy, and you would have thought that she would have been like, I'm gonna do whatever you say. Let's do what Edmond's doing. Because she was losing all the way around. But anyway, I took off my hat to you the way you were just so humble. And nice meeting you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you as well.
We have another question over
Okay, I'm sorry. Hi. Thank you. What's your name?
My name is Naomi.
All right, Naomi.
Just sew a long time ago, make my own fashion, and then I stopped. But the television show inspired me to want to start sewing again when I started watching Project Runway.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I don't have cable, so I miss your show now. I don't get to see it. But I've been to Mood Fashion to buy fabric, and I
Which
know
one?
what it's like. Mood in New York.
Okay.
Oh, well, there's several in New York, but I went to one of the larger ones in New York. And I also joined the mailing list because I see what you mean when you go there to buy fabric. You're going to be there for hours easily.
Yes.
And one of the things that they do there, they have a free 6-week sewing lesson. So I would really like for something like that to get started in Bermuda, and what inspiration that you can add to that to get us going in that direction, to get people more interested in doing designs.
I like that. I like what you're saying, and that kind of piggyback off of what she was asking. So maybe that's something we need to kind of start working on.
Something you're open to?
Yes, definitely open to that. Michelle, where's Michelle, Layla?
Good. We have another question in the back. Oh, right here. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
You said that when you go to the store to pick out fabric, you say the fabric speaks to you. What do you mean by that?
When I say it speaks to me, it like I guess something that I like, something that I can see, something that because if it's like a color that I don't ever use and I don't it wouldn't speak to me. So I guess if you say if it was like if you're really into like bags or shoes, if you like a certain kind of heel, but that one you're like no, that's not it. But you love a print and you're like, oh, I like that one. In that sense of it speaks to me. Yep. You're welcome.
And her today is going to inspire me because I have a closet still full of material. I have been purchasing material online, but it's really hard because you can't feel it.
Yeah.
And I don't like that because when I got the box, some of the materials, yeah.
It didn't speak to you.
No, it didn't speak to me, but I want to be able to touch it. But every Thursday I watch Project Runway.
That's what's up. Can I get a hug? Can I get?
Oh, go ahead. Yes.
I appreciate you. What's up? What's going on?
Okay, Edmond, you're going to have to give every young lady in here a hug.
No
because
problem.
I see them looking like, I asked a question and I didn't get a hug.
No problem.
We will make sure that happens for you, okay? Good. Next question.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you. He's sitting all set.
I'm
I
sorry.
just wanted to know how it's been working with our models and putting this show all together here. How have you enjoyed working with us?
I have really enjoyed it. Again, like when you go into a situation you don't know what it's going to present. I'm an energy person. The girls are killer. Y'all have some bad models here. And when I say bad, meaning good in that sense. And the show that we'll present, I'll let you, see what's going on with them. But they're beautiful and they are great.
You talked about how you are also moved by music that
Yes.
helps create what you do.
Yes.
Let's indulge in that a little bit.
Okay.
What about music? What's the selection you would use to get a particular design or an outfit for a man or a woman?
I like that question. I love music. I've always loved music ever since I was little. My father played in a band, and I would capture moments in time on my timeline would stem from music. You hear a song, you're like, oh, I was this age when that came out, or I was doing this, or I was doing that. When I'm designing, I listen to the feel or the vibe that I'm creating for. So if I am, let's say for instance, I'm doing a custom wedding gown for someone, I'm listening to Anita Baker, I'm listening to Whitney Houston, I'm listening to, all of these types of music that incorporate love. Because if I put on trap music and I'm making your wedding gown, you might drop it like it's hot, and that's not the right type of vibe. But if I'm listening to, I don't know, it just varies. Like right now, I have a young lady creating. She wants a custom wedding suit for her wedding, and she's wearing cowboy boots and stuff like that. So I'm listening to that. It ranges. My musical selection varies just like my design ability. So whatever I'm creating, I kind of incorporate what I need to listen to while I'm creating their design. Thank you.
Question, how do you overcome your fear when you have something that has to be done? Like when you're on Project Runway, what was it that you had to say to yourself to overcome your fear to do what was ever necessary?
In the words of Sade, love is stronger than pride.
Wow, say that again.
Love is stronger than pride. And when you do that and say that to yourself, like it's not about you anymore. It's about whatever you love is, it's stronger than that pride of whatever, however you, even with going on Project Runway, I'll say this real quick. After I prayed about it, wanted it so bad, and it was presented to me, I told, myself, I said, you've got to give this your all, your 100%, like your everything. That's why when you would see the cameras, like Tim would be at someone else's station and I'm back there just working. My people was like, oh my goodness, did you ever just stop and just, no, because I asked for this. I asked for this 14 times.
Wow.
And they said, yeah, so I got to give them, I can't sit back and chill and just wait for Tim to come over there. I finished that dress, you know what, I'm gonna make another one because he might not like that one. So I just wanted to give that everything. And with Project Runway, those, you don't know what is going to be presented. They may have said, okay, today challenge, we're remaking like ballerina tutus, and I might have had to put one on, but I mean, I would have to go with it. I mean, because I was, like I said, I would be a team player. I asked for that, so I had to just go with whatever was presented.
Good. We're getting ready to see something that you've done.
Okay.
Specifically for Bermuda.
Yes.
What do you want them to feel? What do you want the audience to feel about what you've created?
Wow. I want the audience to feel the energy, the excitement, the fantasy of it. And just open your minds and just go with it. It may not necessarily be something that you would wear. It may not be something that you can totally get a grasp, a concept of understanding. But I would like you to just open your mind as if it's art and just enjoy it. Yeah.
Good. We have another question here.
Hi. You had said how the Crystal Caves inspired you, and you said how music inspired you. You said you have to feel the love.
Yes.
Have you ever been a place or somewhere, or just in a time where you see something and you just can't stop looking, and you take a picture and you're like, I have to make this more than just a small rock or just a pattern that you see in the store. I have to make this something. Do you ever see that?
All the time. All the time, yes. I see trees, the way that they grow. I don't know, I've been walking in the rain and it just started pouring down raining, and some people will get upset by that. And I'm like, just go with it. Just absorb it, and I build off of that. Maybe I'm crazy, but I mean, it's kind of build off of that. And I use that as, again, experience, Even people. I look at people, I can be riding by in a car and I can be inspired by the way someone is walking or what he or she has on that's a little unique than everything else. And I'm like, wow, where's my sketch pad? And I have a notebook and papers and receipts. I'll grab anything while I'm in the car, a pen or something, and just kind of either jot down that idea or do a quick little sketch illustration so it doesn't go away, because that can be something that turns into something really, really, really major.
Good. So say that to the young people, how you're always carrying something.
Paper.
Yes.
I always carry, I love Sharpies, because they're bold, and once you write it down, it's there, it's permanent. And I keep pencils and stuff with me all the time. I'm always jotting down ideas. A lot of my creative thoughts come to me late at night, so I can be asleep and wake up at like 2, 3 in the morning, just have to get up, because the more I lay there, I'm not gonna go to sleep. I have to get it up and get it out of my mind, whatever that is. So like kind of grow and understand and know your body creatively. Just draw off of that energy. Don't fight it, just go with it. Yeah. Keep your sketch pad with you at all times, in your book bag, your pocketbook, whatever. Keep it with you.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Edmond Newton. Thank you very much. Yes. And so now you will be the first audience to see his international collection. Let's give Edmond Newton a hand. His first time international exposure is in Bermuda. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome.
That you realize that he is debuting in Bermuda. Do you know that is epic? That you are having the opportunity to see him while, I say it lucidly, while he is accessible. You understand what I mean by that? And I am truly grateful and I am truly appreciative of each and every one of you for supporting the I Am series. Because I Am doesn't stop just here. It will always be home in Bermuda, but this is going to be taken internationally. And what I'm going to do now, because you know how you track ticket sales? And when I saw the first 2 seats being sold, I was so excited. So in row B, 8 and 9, they were the first 2 tickets sold. And I believe in blessing people. So I told you about one of my angels. And this is also what I'm doing. I am also doing this, not just bringing in someone international, but I am celebrating locals as well. But I have 2 giveaways for those persons that are seated in B8 and 9. An autographed copy of Mommy Says from Rashina Beek, who is helping me out. So here you go, B8 right here. Yes. Autographed. This is Rashina right here. Not only are you getting an autographed copy while she's still accessible, I'm telling you, we are all doing big things. You also, as long as the I Am series is running, will have complimentary tickets. And that is anywhere in the world. So if we are going to Australia, you're coming with us. The other thing is, one of my other angels I want to put up on the floor, absolutely hilarious, my co-host, one of my co-hosts, Teacher Talk. Dean, where are you? Come here, Dean. I want Dean to give you a few words. Don't tell you act like you're shy now, please.
She's putting me on the spot. I'm glad I came tonight because some of you may know we have Teacher Talk on Thursdays, Magic 102.7, and we had the opportunity to interview Edmond. Majority of the questions I asked, they said, you cannot ask that because people are going to come tonight. So I'm glad I came tonight to hear the answers. We had a great time. This young man was very, very down to earth, as you saw tonight. He laughed along with us, and we had some jokes that we told him. I told him one thing he has to do is first state that he loves Bermuda. But I'm here tonight to support my friend and co-worker, present co-worker now, in this I Am series, and I love the fact that it gets you to look at yourself and to see what you are. It doesn't matter what other people are doing, it matters what you are doing. Thank you for coming out and supporting her, and I pray that you have been blessed and will be blessed.
Also, I want to thank Bermuda Fashion Festival because the team together is an awesome, awesome team. Daniel Lee Trott, Bermuda Fashion Festival coming up in July. You'll hear it all over the place. Zoe, Tamara, and Vicky, they were instrumental in all of this. Thank you we have local models. Put your hands together for that. Who will be rocking the stage. I just want to say that this is under Bermuda's treasure chest. Not Bermuda's treasure chest, Michelle's treasure chest, sorry. Michelle's Treasure Chest, and the chest is open, where you get only exquisite and rare jewels, and I'm saying that metaphorically. And I didn't advertise, but the accessories that you see on the stage are the accessories that I made by hand. So I am excited. And I cannot be remiss to also thank Lamont Robinson, Jacoma Entertainment. Before there was a Bermuda Fashion Festival, there was Lamont Robinson with Jacoma Entertainment. Everyone remembers that? When he totally transformed, when it used to be the #1 shared into one of the longest runways Bermuda has ever seen. I want to thank my mommy and daddy, Cheryl Laylor, Vincent Laylor, master teachers, and my Aunt Jen, and I'm about to tear up. They mean so much to me. And the other thing, my colleague and friend, Libby. I shared the whole thing with her. I mean, really, the whole thing. Right, Libby? The whole thing. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Before we test, we just have to thank this phenomenal woman. Yes. There's nothing that I can give you that can equate to who you are and what you're doing. This woman cares about us all. She has all of us in mind, and this is a prime example of her thought process. To have you here, to give you an opportunity to meet yourself. I just want to, on behalf of all of us, thank you, Miss Michelle Marie Antoinette Laylor, for you, because just as we know that I am powerful, I am loved, I am determined, you have taught us how to be selfless, and I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I am introducing to you, presenting to you the Edmond Newton collection inspired by us, Bermuda.
Lift it up, lift it up. it up, lift it up. Lift 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 it up, lift it up.
I will be back. I will definitely be back. And yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.